Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something that is, honestly, a genuine breakthrough. It's a whole new way to program biology itself. We're going to see how scientists can now just write down their ideas in plain English, have them translated into code, and then simulate the incredibly complex secret lives of our cells.
But let's start with a big question. Just think about this for a second. What if we could actually predict a tumor's next move? I mean, instead of just waiting and seeing how a cancer grows or if a treatment works, what if we could play out all the possibilities on a computer first? That's the huge, high-stakes problem at the heart of what we're talking about today.
You know, our bodies are basically these bustling cities, made up of trillions of cells, all interacting in what scientists call multicellular ecosystems. And we have some amazing technology that lets us take snapshots of these cities, right? But predicting how they're going to change over time, how they evolve, that's been a massive challenge. Well, until now. So to really get why this is such a game changer, we first need to peek into the secret life of our cells. Let's take a look at how scientists have been trying to model these crazy complex worlds and, the problems they've run into. Okay, so for a long time, the go-to tool for this has been something called an agent-based model, or an ABM. Honestly, the best way to think about it is like The Sims, but for cells. Seriously, each individual cell is an agent, like a little character, that senses what's around it and follows a set of rules. These things are incredibly powerful. They let us create digital twins of tumors and even run entire virtual clinical trials. All right, so if these models are so amazing, you're probably wondering, why isn't every biologist on the planet using them? Well, it turns out there's this huge language barrier, a fundamental disconnect between the worlds of biology and computer code. And this slide right here shows you exactly what that barrier looks like. On one side, you've got the biologist. They understand the system and they can state a hypothesis in simple terms, like, hey, this signal makes that cell grow. But on the other side, you have the modeler, who has to translate that simple idea into a bunch of really complex math. This language barrier meant that to build these models, you had to be an expert in both biology and advanced programming, and that effectively locked out most of the doctors and scientists who needed these tools the most. Which, finally, brings us to the breakthrough. A team of researchers has developed a new framework that basically acts as a universal translator, completely tearing down that wall between biology and computation. What this new framework does is pretty incredible. It boils down this super complex process into 4 simple steps. A scientist can just state their hypothesis in plain language, write it down as a simple rule, and then this new grammar automatically translates it into all the complicated math needed. And just like that, they're ready to run a virtual experiment right on their computer. And look, you don't have to take my word for it. The authors put it perfectly in their paper, saying they developed a plain text modeling language. This isn't just a small step up. It's about democratizing a really powerful tool, making it accessible to scientists everywhere, so they can unlock the hidden dynamics of our bodies. Okay, this all sounds amazing in theory, right? But what does it actually look like when you put it to work? Let's check out some incredible real-world examples from the research and see this virtual lab in action. So first up, they tackled a really tough one, pancreatic cancer. The big question was, what makes it break out from the original tumor and start invading the tissue around it? Because that's what makes it so deadly. So the model focused on 2 key players. First, you've got the neoplastic cells. Those are the main cancer cells. And then you have these other cells called cancer-associated fibroblasts, or CAFs for short. You can think of CAFs as these corrupted support cells that end up helping the cancer. The hypothesis, written in simple rules, was that these CAFs send out signals that basically tell the cancer cells, okay, stop just multiplying and start moving, become invasive. And wow, the results from the simulation are just fascinating. Using data from real human tumors, the model shows the cancer invading over 15 days. But here's what's really cool. It uncovered this complex dynamic where the CAF signals do promote invasion, but if you have too many CAFs packed together, they can physically block the cancer cells from escaping. It's this subtle, double-edged sword that would be incredibly hard to see without a simulation like this. Okay, that's pretty impressive. But can this thing handle something even more complicated? Like, say, trying to personalize immunotherapy, which is one of the most promising but also unpredictable areas of cancer treatment. Well, the team went for it. They took incredibly detailed data from a group of real pancreatic cancer patients and used it to create a set of virtual patients. Each simulation was kicked off with a unique mix of immune cells found in a person's actual tumor, basically creating a digital twin of that tumor's environment. And then they tested a powerful triple combination immunotherapy on this entire virtual group. And just look at the results for one of these virtual patients. They are striking. You can see that without any treatment, the tumor grows. A double therapy kind of holds it steady, but the triple therapy, the model predicted significant tumor shrinkage. This is the power of the system. You can test countless combinations on a computer to figure out what might work best for a specific patient's biology. But here's the real kicker. This is what's so important. The simulations didn't just confirm things we already knew. They generated a brand new, testable hypothesis. The model predicted, with real statistical significance, that patients who happen to have more macrophages, a type of immune cell that eats up cellular junk, might respond way better to this therapy. That's a discovery made entirely in silico, inside the computer. And what's so cool is that this biological programming language isn't just about cancer. Not at all. It's a tool for understanding pretty much any complex cellular system. And just to prove how versatile this thing is, the researchers aimed it at something totally different, the developing human brain. They were able to successfully simulate that incredibly intricate process where stem cells divide and migrate to form the distinct layered structure of our cortex. It just goes to show this grammar is a fundamental new tool for all of biology. So, all of this work, everything we've talked about, is pushing toward what many consider the holy grail of modern medicine, the digital twin. Imagine having a perfect virtual copy of your own tumor or your own immune system just living inside a computer. A model where doctors could test dozens of drugs and strategies to find the perfect one just for you, all before you ever receive a single dose. So let's wrap this up. What are the big takeaways here? First, this new biological grammar is a huge leap forward because it democratizes science, putting powerful simulation tools in the hands of way more people. Second, it's going to accelerate discovery by letting scientists run virtual experiments at lightning speed. And third, it's paving the way for a future of truly personalized medicine through these digital twins. And that brings us right back to where we started, but now it's personal. What if your digital twin could be the one to go through all the trial and error of finding the right cancer treatment so that you don't have to? That is the future this incredible work is building, one line of simple English at a time.